Come in, if you dare. Welcome to a world of the fantastic and the macabre. Welcome to Ghost Stories YYC. Prepare yourself for a tale of terror. Written by Mackenzie Roth, with art by Mackenzie Roth. Do not seek the infinities below.
This is not a story I was meant to tell, but the infinite curiosity of man has always led to the pursuit of knowledge. Even so, the forbidden nature of the creatures I discovered torment my thoughts, send tingles, like 1,000 tiny spiders shivering down my spine, and still I am captivated by their vacant eyes and enigmatic anatomies. While I realize this introduction has undoubtedly sparked your eldritch curiosities, I must warn you, do not delve beyond that which is written on these pages. The burden of this knowledge is far crueler than living in a blissful ignorance of their existence. I have become aware of a world hidden from our sight, a place home to the beasts forgotten by evolution. They exist on a microscopic plane that our eyes have undoubtedly never evolved to see, for the denizens that reside there have the ability to torture thoughts and madden minds. Their empty eyes have a sort of sentience that tells of a knowing far more ancient than ours. They have shown me that Earth is not our own, like we tend to believe, for they outnumber us 1,000,000 to 1, and they exist within the spaces we cannot. If they wanted to, they could overcome us, devouring us in ways nightmares cannot manifest. They are hidden in our everyday, unparalleled planes of existence that we could not even attempt to fathom. The discovery of this plane was no accident, but rather a consequence of our fatal pride. With the 20th century came a new thirst for power and an ever-intensifying need for an understanding of everything. Searching to feed our hunger for knowledge, we tried to create machines that could break the boundaries of our limitations. We found ways to rule the skies by creating the aeroplane, dominate the sea with submarines, conquer illness with antibiotics, and communicate with personal computers, radio, and television. In 1933, we created the first electron microscope whose resolution greatly surpassed that of its predecessors. With this, we believe to have broken the barrier into strange and inaccessible worlds. The machine allowed us to learn about the structures of a variety of organic and non-organic materials, but with this came the discovery of new organisms, one that have lived longer than our lifetime, and it introduced us to a new empire with which we coexist, yet never have detected. We have succeeded in teleporting into a void to which we previously had no access. Yet, our hubris will always lie within our belief that we can comprehend the absolute nature of all things with our limited senses. Viewing other realms through these machines is like looking through the looking glass. We enter a void between knowledge and imagination, fear and familiarity. We are only capable of perceiving things as we were made to see them. This is why I must tell you that the things found upon microscopic planes of existence were never ours to understand. The realization that our Earth can be so alien to us elicits a primitive fear of the otherworldly. There is no doubt you may try to run from such realities, but once you know them, their existence is inescapable. I stumbled upon this realm almost by accident. When my curiosity of the void overcame me, new technologies have made the infinitesimal explorable. By virtue of my inquisitiveness, I have learned much about the cosmic creatures that exist above us. However, after a long evening of poring over Lovecraftian literature, I began to grow curious of the inverse, the infinities below us. What started as innocent inquiries on internet forums sent me down a rabbit hole of images and articles, the contents of which will never cease to plague my thoughts. After a few focused queries, I had my first encounter with one of the accursed creatures. Its image held a gaze that bore into my mind and possessed me with fear. Its legion of vacant eyes and unnaturally elongated limbs spoke of a biology not of this earth. Although microscopic, its composition appeared to loom over me. I had never felt so small, and at that moment I became suddenly aware of their presence, everywhere. I could see hordes surrounding me, nesting upon my skin and feeding within. I was nothing but a host for their grotesque breeding grounds and parasitic feats. The horrors I experienced that day are hardly of this world, and my attempts at comprehending what I have witnessed are slowly driving me mad. This is why I implore you to avoid glancing into the microscopic realms of our earth. These planes were not made for our eyes to interpret. Now that I know of the beasts who swim in the black seas of infinity, I can no longer rest soundly. The proverbial food chain has shifted, and we are far from the top. So again, I urge you to not look beyond these pages. Embrace ignorance. Be satisfied with living within familiarity and do not seek to occupy spaces with which we should not be able. The void is vast, filled with microcosmic horrors we were never meant to face. Knowledge is not only power, but a burden we were never meant to bear. This is a story we were not meant to know.